Here. What's up, chat? How we doing? How's the shot? Let's get the shot going. We had to go with the white chat again. I don't know if I'm vibing with that. I like the black background. But it is what it is. I couldn't get the black background going. So how we doing? Happy Wednesday, March 31st, the final day of March. Tomorrow, baseball is upon us. Hopefully it's not going to be one big April Fool's joke when Aaron Judge isn't in the lineup and I'm upset. How we doing? What's up, chat? What up, Encore? What up, Marvski? What's good, people? Just checked out the MLB videos you put out. Never played, but I'm going to try this year. I appreciate that, Marv. I'm going to try and get a couple more into that series, but that was like the toe wetter, right? Dip your toes in the pool, jump in, swim around, and kind of know where to start. When I first started MLB DFS many moons ago, I didn't know anything about advanced metrics, and then not only did I learn about advanced metrics, but I was able to see advanced metrics morph and change real baseball and how the analytical wave, the revolution started sweeping across the league, and you're starting to see that tangibly team by team as teams make less offers based on popularity and more based on metrics. And we're also seeing the awards move from like wins for Cy Young award winners like Rick Porcello to WAR and stuff like that being more of a appropriate measuring level. So I'm excited to have watched that, but I really want more of you guys to pick it up, because some of you guys that are out here grinding every day for basketball and for football, I know you have the mindset and I know you have the ability to grasp it and thrive. What up, Dez? What up, Pete? Happy hump day. Happy hump day to everyone except PJ Washington, all right? All my homies hate PJ Washington. Oh my God. Happy opening day eve. Let's go. I am so stoked for baseball tomorrow, man. Yankees are the first game too. I have to sit around and wait. Okay? We opening the show, bro. Everybody has to follow us. I'm stoked. I'm excited. What's up, Solo? I just took my urine test, smoked a foul one after watching the stream. Hey, man. Hope you passed your test, man. If you guys missed it, if you guys are just here for NBA, I did put up we did do a baseball stream last night. It was hindered in the first half or the first quarter on some technical difficulties, so I do apologize for that. I still don't know exactly what happened, but the desktop audio input from Discord kind of got lost in the shuffle, but we did rectify that pretty quickly. Like, we didn't lose a game of analysis, and it's also first couple games into a season where we don't really have an eye test on guys and how they look just yet. We're getting some rust off. So if you guys want to check out the game by game breakdown for opening day, check it out right here in the uploads feed on this channel. I also started a MLB DFS intro to DFS series from the Department of Redundancy department. I put out 4 videos for that. I have so many ideas, and I think I just, like, anytime I think of like a short concept that I want you guys to know about, I think I'll just make a quick video and push it out there. So look for that. And if you guys had any ideas or questions, anything like that to add to it, tweet at me, drop it in the comments, show some love on that. I want more people to play MLB. I also want a reason to put out more MLB content, but with the schedule being what it is, I need the content to be, how do I put this? I want more than 50 views. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want the time to be worth it. So hopefully if you guys liked it, you appreciate it, maybe do me a solid, hit that thumbs up on those videos, comment, show interaction with the videos. It spice up the YouTube algorithm, and then maybe share it on Twitter or whatever. Tomorrow we're doing some giveaways for everyone that participated in some of our contests last week or two. So many of you guys have tried the PrizePicks using code GUNDACKER. You guys are going to be eligible to win a couple month passes. I think I'm going to go ahead and give away 2 or 3 to people that signed up on PrizePicks. And then, of course, we have several of you guys that signed up for VIP at RunDFS.com. Yesterday, I do have some of you guys that are like football and basketball only guys. I do have a couple of you guys that are just here for baseball. And a couple of those guys reached out to me on Twitter last night, and they're like, hey, give me a price for the full season of baseball. And I was like, what would that be? That would basically be April 1st to October 3rd. So 5-6 months of coverage. There's going to be a gap where the month pass is $80, but also $100. I was like, you know what? Full season right now, I'll get you $400, 6 months. So instead of the $100 month, so it could be a $200 saving. So that's out there. Also, the All-Star to All-Star break, if you guys want to lock in until July, that's there. And that last month of baseball coverage, like this isn't a pass for baseball. This isn't a pass for one sport. This is everything VIP. That last month of baseball will also be the first month of football. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, that's out there. If you already have the All-Star to All-Star break and you want to extend it a little bit and split the difference, hit me up. We'll work something out, man. PJ Washington sucked, but a 3,800 Cody Zeller wasn't getting minutes goes off. Yeah, it was a weird short slate. If we go pull up the scoring for that, Russell Westbrook, no shock there. No Bradley Beal, 69.75. Curtain calling his big 90-point game the night before. Michael Porter Jr., your second highest scorer, Jamal Murray, 52-55. Great way to be contrarian. We did discuss that. Got you off of Jokic if you justified that like pre-flop. You're like, if this is gonna be a Jamal Murray game, maybe Jokic takes a step back. And so far, that's what we saw. Gordon Hayward, 50 bomb. And then Bogdanovic. This was my saving grace on FanDuel because I was torn between a three-man split on who my small forward 2 was, my value small forward. It was like Chandler Hutchinson, Danny Advia, or Bogdanovic. And I just went Bogdan. And that worked out for me, and that really saved my night and made it not a bad night. Paul George was rolled out. Kawhi back-to-back, 43. MC Dub dropped to 40. The Magic stun the Los Angeles Clippers. Not a lot of people saw that. I know we saw some people tilting in the props and betting channel in the Discord. MCW with a 40. Chuma Okeke with a 31. Wendell Carter Jr. 28. And Otto Porter with a 27. So, yuck. What up, Obi? What's good? First time. Yeah, I can appreciate that, Obi. Welcome to the stream. NBA DFS been whack lately. MLB where it's at. I saw I love every sport. Every sport for what it is. Obviously, I have a passion for everything, but yeah, MLB is a breath of fresh air, where you don't at least from a relax after lock standpoint. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not here to hate on basketball. MLB is definitely my favorite, but it is what it is. Looking at the worst picks for NBA and playing them tonight. Let's go. T. Ross can kiss my butt. You ain't captain. I'm the captain now. Yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah, so 10 games tonight. It's a lot of games. So, you guys know these big slates can get overwhelming. Man, keep it simple, man. Try and key in on 5 or less games, a couple one-offs elsewhere, and just don't spread out that player pool too thin, and I think you'll be all right. We did have some news drop already, but the daily 3 p.m. tweet from Fantasy Labs, that's how I like to get started. Jaylen Brown, questionable for the Celtics. Zach LaVine, questionable for the Bulls. John Wall, questionable for the Rockets. Christian Wood, Kendrick Nunn, probable and questionable. Derrick Rose, questionable. Kobe White, questionable. Daniel House, probable. And if we scroll down a little bit more, we get Pakustevsky out with health protocols. Ty Jerome, questionable. Kyle Lowry ruled out. Lonnie Walker ruled out. Donovan Mitchell ruled out for personal reasons. And that was from last night, but it's for today, which is fun because we're going to get Mike Conley back in the grindhouse. Limited fan seating, but a little bit of a fun narrative there, and that's one that I'll be a fan of. So, Yeah, that's what we're dealing with pre-flop. It looks like this is going to be a one-man show. Yeah, Rod said he's got a business meeting until the top of the hour. Maybe he jumps in at the top of the hour, but for the most part, I think I'm a big boy. I'm going to handle myself. We're going to go game by game here. Chat, completely interactive. You guys got some thoughts, spins, picks on each game. Whatever game we're talking about, tell me who you like, maybe why you like him, who you don't like. There is no right or wrong answer to me. If I hate Saban Lee because it's too risky, but you're there, man. We're not judging each other. This is just us kind of thinking out loud and spitballing thoughts on ideas on how to attack the slate. So we got the bang ready. We got you guys ready. I'm ready. That's the Michael K. first pitch setup. What's up, Giuliano? Where you been, bro? Finally got me 2 cashes, but PJ Watson laid an egg. That sucks, man. PJ Watson did his thing. Check Twitter messages gun on let me check my phone. Guys, I am so excited for baseball. The only thing I'm not excited for baseball is I gotta be up at like 7 in the morning. Yankee game at noon. And then I wonder what the stream schedule looks like for tomorrow. I guess the main slate's at noon, so it is what it is. The main slate on FanDuel's at noon my time, and the DraftKings is at an hour later. So the main slates will lock for baseball. I am wondering if a regular time NBA slate would, or NBA stream would work, but I'm also wondering if the Yankee game would be over. I would love to watch a full Yankee game, so we'll see. Bear with me. Ankur, I got that message, man. I'll hit you up. So Boogie signed a 10-day with the Clips. Was it a 10-day or did he just straight up sign? I feel like DeMarcus Cousins is not just a 10-day guy, but he might be. I just saw that he signed with them. That would be weird to be. Is that not like, I don't know. I feel like there should be something against a 10-day contract for like a goated legend. Let's get cranked up, Doug. Portland Trail Blazers at the Detroit Pistons. Game number 1 on the docket. Project starting 5 for the Blazers. Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum, Norman Powell, Robert Covington, Yusuf Nurkic taking on Saban Lee, Frank Jackson, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee. We got a 221 total with a 7.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Portland Trail Blazers. 10-game slate. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't want to play this Russian roulette of Pistons guards, and I've kind of taken that approach lately. Ham Diallo did show up and show out in that last game. I think he had like a 40-bomb performance for fantasy. And, guys like Saban Lee, they'll project cheap potential value. If you guys want to get there, you guys want to get there. 27 minutes on Diallo that last game, 43 fantasy points. 6 for 7 from the stripe and 10 rebounds. 10 rebounds, a little bit higher than his usual range of outcomes, but hey, maybe the Detroit version of Diallo is a rebounder. I just think there's going to be so much volatility in the guard and wings for the Pistons that I don't want to dabble with them. I keep it simple when it comes to the Pistons. If I'm going to introduce some Pistons to my pool, it's likely just going to be one of Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, or Mason Plumlee. And Jeremy Grant, 6,600 on FanDuel. Yeah, that's pretty cheap, especially going against a Blazers defense that's still bottom 3 in defensive efficiency. The Blazers making some changes, added Norman Powell to the mix, Yusuf Nurkic working his way back in. Enes Kanter's been super solid off the bench. He's 6,500 on DraftKings. I wouldn't hate you guys ending up with some Kanter today, but a 221 total. I don't know that I'm getting a fantastic deal on anyone individually on a Lillard, McCollum, Powell. I do think, we can make an argument that each one of these guys can exceed their value individually. Obviously, I don't think it's a coinciding situation for all three. I think it's one of three are likely a great tournament play, if that. And then there's an outcome where all three are kind of average, like a 40, 35, 30, something like that. So I feel like I'm going to be pretty light on this game from a first look point of view, and then as I get through the rest of the slate, I might circle back here and say, all right, maybe there's a little bit of value on Damian Lillard at 9-1. I'll take a shot on that against the Pistons and hope for that 50. But early on, I feel like this is going to be a light game exposure-wise for me, and maybe a couple tier 3s end up from the Blazers side. Let's see what you guys got on this one before we move on to the next one. Jim, what's up, Jim? Hey, Gunn, how are you? Utah, the stack for the slate? Maybe. I do like the opportunity there without Donovan Mitchell. There's definitely a lot of real points to make up and a lot of production and minutes to make up. So I don't mind that. I don't know if they're the stack just yet, but absolutely you can see Conley and Gobert being part of my pool. Solo says, can I drop a lineup in here? Sure. Diallo, Irving, Harden, McCollum, Williams, OJ, is that OG? McDaniels, Bradley, and Zhang. It falls off a cliff there at the end. Tony Bradley, Gorgie Zhang, but it's a lineup. So you're going the Irving, Harden handcuff, McCollum in the mix there. I get it. I think on a 10-game slate, I don't want to have more than one, but definitely not two guys that make me go, and that might be where we're at there. But we'll see. That's not, you're starting there. I get the theory behind Irving and Harden. By the way, Jim Parrish, one of the only active YouTube channel members right now. Guys, I need ideas on what would entice you guys to try the YouTube channel membership. Obviously, exclusive videos is an option, but at the same time, a lot of these videos just have such a short shelf life that I'm not quite sure if that's the best route to go. At least not for maybe strategy videos would be more appropriate for that. But I definitely want to utilize that feature more, because not every channel gets to use that feature, and the fact that I do have that, I'm just kind of not using it. Maybe I need to dig on that just a little bit more. So first of all, shout out to Jim for being a channel member. If you guys are not sure what that is, it's a recurring subscription on YouTube, showing support for a channel, and I think you get ad-free experience too. I think, don't quote me on that one. What up, B fam? What up, Debo? No Clarkson on the lineup. Oh, for that one without Mitchell, I definitely I could see that being a problem. Top shot, Johnny. Encore Clarkson, yeah. You can't trust Zhang with his first game the way Pop. Yeah, I don't think I would get there, but we'll see. Let's move on to the next game here. Indiana Pacers hosting the Miami Heat. Project starting 5-4. The Heat, Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy G, Buckets, Trevor Ariza, Bam Adebayo taking on Malcolm Brogdon, Karis LeVert, Justin Holiday, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner. 218.5 is our total there. 2-point spread in favor of the Miami Heat. Two teams that are going to play pace down, and even if we take a step back look at the Pistons and Blazers, that's going to be a pace down game as well. So a lower in pace game. Miami Heat will be, for the most part, full strength. Oladipo still yet to make his debut. Kendrick Nunn is questionable. I went to go get that information on my second screen. I got questionable with a right ankle. He missed Monday's game due to the ankle issue, which resulted in Goran Dragic getting the start, and Tyler Hero was a bit more involved in the rotation, so expect more of the same if that happens again here. Jimmy Butler is under 9K on DraftKings. We know he has 40-50 fantasy point potential up against a Pacers team that I think is going to be frustrating slate to slate. I think there's going to be games where Malcolm Brogdon pops, Karis LeVert pops, Sabonis pops. I think Sabonis will be the constant, but I think more so the LeVert versus Brogdon, who had a great tournament game at their price, is going to be a little bit more volatile and fringy. And for that reason, I would say I probably look at Sabonis first when I'm trying to get to the Pacers, and then I'm really kind of flipping coins on exposures on Brogdon and LeVert if I want to get there. Right now, I got both guys projected at under 40 fantasy points, so at 7K on DraftKings, not really a priority for me. Sabonis is going to play deep minutes, but the matchup's not something like I'm running to or away from lately. They have been pretty strong against points in the paint and stuff like that. We know Adebayo individually is a strong defender. But I think overall this is probably a game that I'm going to project to be a little bit slow, a little bit lower in scoring, and I probably stay away from the Pacers. I think I can get a lot more concentrated usage on Jimmy Butler, especially if Kendrick Nunn is down and Butler has to play more of a facilitator role. It is a triple-double threat spot anytime Butler's in a situation like that. So I can't move away from this game without having Jimmy Butler in my player pool. The last couple games for him, 43, 42, 30, kind of on a down tick, but I think the shot volume is still, in the double digits, and the other peripherals, the rebounds and assists, I think they'll come back. They'll start going back to where he's flirting with that triple-double potential. So I don't think he's a lock. I think I probably start him as a tier 3, 9K on FanDuel, 88 on DraftKings, and I'm looking to get to that north side of 40. If I can get 45, 50 fantasy points, I'll take it. The Pacers don't allow a ton of steals per game, but they do allow a decent chunk of blocks per game. Also wouldn't hate a DraftKings look at Bam Adebayo. I don't mind centers against the Indiana Pacers. They are a pretty bad rebounding team, so extra rebounds to go for Adebayo, and also to kind of pepper into those low peripheral numbers lately for Jimmy Butler. And just, centers against the Pacers, I think is just one of the more unsung spots. So you look at the last couple centers against the Pacers, you don't have to go but 5 games back where Bam Adebayo dropped 54 against them in 37 minutes. That might have been a game where Jimmy was out, but still the matchup gives you that type of upside. Last couple games, Porzingis dropped 62 DraftKings points in 38 minutes, and Mason Plumlee dropped 35 fantasy points in 30 minutes. So, I don't mind looking at an 8K version of Adebayo. I'm probably all the way out at 9.4 on FanDuel. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me, but I definitely think 8-2 gives me a little bit of wiggle room for hope. And if none was out, Dragic and Hero are both very justifiable to look at. I don't know that I get to an egregious or aggressive amounts, if any, because we do have the alternate options already in a guy like Jordan Clarkson, and then you go a little bit further in guys like Joe Ingles, stuff like that. But I think you can definitely make a case for them. Anything special for this one, chat, before we keep it moving? Bam, you like Bam. Zhang's a point per minute monster. If you showed a few of your lineups, did I miss the first part of that? Are you talking to me? If I showed a few of my lineups, yeah, we could. But I don't have lineups made for today yet. I usually don't make my lineups until probably about 20 minutes before lock. I start trying to get my lineups going once the news is out. But if you're on Twitter, ask me on Twitter lately. I can show you plenty of lineups. 5 years ago, is there any GPP room to pivot to McConnell? TJ McConnell at 485K. I need 30, man. I really do. And he has that potential upside because he is kind of a point per minute scrapper. But you got to wonder if those minutes are going to be suffice enough now that LeVert's in the mix, and the options around him at that price point. If we go to TJ McConnell at 4.8. So you gotta look. You can have a look at Goran Dragic if none is out, and then Satoransky's down here at 4.5, and we talked about Jordan Clarkson, who is 5K. So it's kind of hard to give him all the approvals on the checklist pre-flop with so many viable options right around him. So like if you land on a McConnell, like that night he had 9 steals or whatever, like, yeah, you'd probably be on an island. I don't know if that's what you want, but it would probably be a less than 5% island, and it's just something that I can't justify for any other reason than to do it, because there's likely plausible options in that price range. So I don't see myself getting there, but do what you do, right? Kyrie gonna pop today, no usage. No ownership. Yeah, I can see that. What's up, Sean? I'll take Brogdon. Miami gives up threes. I'll take Bam, and of course Jimmy G. Yep, Miami bottom 3 in points allowed via the 3-ball. So you can take advantage of that if you think even Justin Holiday can chuck some threes. So I don't hate that take. What up, Willie? Let's save some time. Who are your tier 1 selections for tonight, Willie? I'm looking at this slate game by game, buddy. You think you tricky, but you're not. No, I'm just talking out loud, game by game. This is part of my process as well. All the ownership going to Harden, Utah guards. I agree. Win big is smoking that fire haze or something. I don't I don't know. Yeah, okay. Watch for injuries to use McConnell. I think Lamb and McDermott are questionable. Yeah, Lamb, it does have a Q tag on him. Definitely would. It would like support the case for McConnell a little bit more, but it would also probably just give you more minutes to give to like a Levert and a Brogdon. Let me get you the information on Jeremy Lamb. Jeremy Lamb is questionable with a right toe sprain. He did not participate in Tuesday's practice, and he's listed as questionable. He was able to shoot around, and Nate Bjorkgren, I almost said Nate McMillan, said he was feeling better after hurting his toe on Monday, but it wouldn't be shocking to see him hit the sidelines tomorrow night. So no practice, did shoot around. Yeah, if he's out, you could deepen the minute projection for pretty much all those guards, and then maybe the 1, 2, 3 get a little bit stronger opportunity. I would say 3,800 for Justin Holiday. The more I'm looking at it, I look at the DraftKings game log, but this is from a FanDuel mindset. The more I'm looking at Justin Holiday, he does chuck 3, 6, 5, 7, 10, 11. 2 games against Miami, he's averaging 30 fantasy points, and he's 10 for 19 from behind the arc. So under 4K, yeah, sure. I think that's definitely in the player pool. And like I said, Miami Heat giving up the second most points via the 3-ball in the NBA. So I mean, I think that's viable with or without Jeremy Lamb. And if Jeremy Lamb is out, deeper minute standard. But also if Doug McDermott doesn't make it either, he's questionable. He's dealing with a right ankle. He was a full participant in Tuesday's practice, but he's listed as questionable. I think Justin Holiday might be the wave here. And at under 4K, like, take a shot at 8, 9X. Yeah, I might land there more than I should on a hunch right now. We playing Drummond. We just might. What's up, Hollywood? Yeah, but if you play tournaments, you can crush. Chat. So who we not playing tonight? You just straight up no way playing this guy tonight. There's gonna be several of those. Dallas Mavericks at the Boston Celtics. Next game on the docket. Projects 35 for the Mavs. Luka Doncic, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, Kristaps Porzingis taking on Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and the Time Lord, Robert Williams. We have Jaylen Brown listed as questionable. That's pretty doggone impactful if you ask me. He missed the last game, allowing us to take a shot on Evan Fournier, who went 0 for 10. How? Jaylen Brown's then with a left hip. He sat out Monday's loss to the Pelicans, which allowed Grant Williams to get the start. Evan Fournier seeing extended minutes in his absence, and Jason Tatum did the heavy lifting. It'll be more of the same if he's out again for this game, but we should get another update at shoot-around. So if Jaylen Brown is out, yeah, go ahead and call on Tatum. Jason Tatum has an incredible upside, and we've seen that kind of play out. Yeah, you can make cases for like Kemba Walker and guys like that. You could almost make a case that no one on the planet is going to play Evan Fournier after that horrendous game last time out. I don't have the warmer fuzzies at 6K because I do feel like the best outcome for him is usually 30 fantasy points anyway, and it's kind of like what we need at that price point. But I will go ahead and do this on-off court query, and we're just going to put Kemba, Smart, and maybe Jaylen Brown on. Jason Tatum on. Not Jaylen Brown. Oh, y'all. And we're going to take off Jaylen Brown. Remember, Jaylen Brown's not out. It's questionable. He could play, but this is just kind of something that keeps you ready. Actually, let me take Smart off because Smart missed a chunk. 150 minutes of sample size here from this season of Kemba, Tatum on, Brown off. Multiple fantasy point per minute. About a 31% usage rate for the pair. And if we elongate on that just a little bit, go into last season, we can get a deeper sample size of minutes, and it's really similar, 26-28% usage rate for Kemba and Tatum respectively, both of them over a fantasy point per minute. So yeah, both those guys strong options per minute, and Tatum likely to play the most minutes on the team, so becomes a strong option for 50 plus fantasy points. I will say at 9K on FanDuel, 87 on DraftKings, like the bar is high. Like you're almost gonna want and need that 50 for this slate, but it's very, very viable. Robert Williams also 6,300 on FanDuel, 67 on DraftKings, still a guy that can be a point per minute or greater. The Mavericks actually are a team that allow amongst the fewest blocks per game, and that's a big part of Robert Williams' upside is him going out there and getting those blocks. So kind of take that with a grain of salt. Also understand that Luke Cornett's kind of bleeding into a couple minutes here and there, and then Grant Williams does still exist. So I don't hate Robert Williams. I don't know if he's going to be anything more than a tier 3 shot for me today, but he's absolutely viable from where we're sitting now. And then Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, both of those guys viable as well. Usually Marcus Smart at 5.5 if we get a guy like Jaylen Brown out. It's hard to project him for less than 30 fantasy points. I said that last slate. He didn't get 30. He even got ejected late in the game, and he made that weird play for where they did the jump ball with like 0.3 seconds on the clock, and he yeets it, and the 0.3 seconds was the shot clock for the Pelicans. So he's gonna pay for that. Kemba 7-1 on FanDuel. I'm looking for 40 plus fantasy points. Again, if Jaylen Brown's in, I probably don't land on Kemba here, but if Jaylen Brown's out, we make a deeper deeper look. 222 is our total, 1 point spread in favor of the home team Boston Celtics. I believe after that last game, they started allowing fans, so just kind of keep that in mind. On the Mavs side, Luka Doncic 10-5, 10-7, likely to just be lost in the sauce when it comes to ownership. He hasn't really had, one of those blow it up games, 43, 29, 53. The last couple of Harden games have been monstrous with and without Kyrie, and then he's been landing on slates with like other 10, 11K studs like Westbrook. But the last 3 games for Luka, if you really want to read between the lines, he's not playing over 30 minutes because they're blowing teams out. All 3 games, a Portland Trailblazers team, Minnesota, Oklahoma, they're blowouts. So if we can get a competitive game, and right now we have a 1 point spread, if we get a competitive game, you might get a pretty decent tournament ownership on Luka. And this 28 minutes, 30 minutes, that might turn into 38 minutes. And I think in 38 minutes, Luka has just as much right as anybody to drop 60, 70 fantasy points. Earlier this season, 60.5 fantasy points against Boston. So if Luka's going to end up being contrarian, all things considered, there's not really a reason against it. Like, you can't say, oh, he's been bad lately. He really hasn't. He's been excellent. It's just the teams he's playing have been bad. So yeah, don't lose faith on Luka. I think he can just be as strong of a play as ever. And the Porzingis 8.5, 7.9. The handcuff is still viable. Go for it. I'm not really gonna land on the supplementary plays for the Mavericks. It's pretty much just Luka and some Porzingis for me. But I really think that's maybe a game theory edge tonight. Is maybe the field just takes Harden and Luka can be just fine. What up, Crispy? Is it the Time Lord again? I think he's in the pool, but I'm not going to be overly aggressive, right? When are Robert Williams ever mid-30s, high 20s? That's it. Yeah, he's probably not going to be a 30-plus minute guy, but he doesn't necessarily have to be because his point-per-minute production is ridiculous. So if he's going to be 28, 29 minutes with a 1.2, 1.3 fantasy point production propensity, then he wouldn't be, like, he's still viable. It's like when Embiid was on a 18-minute, 24-minute limit at 6'8", like, he was still hitting, and people were just kind of like, I didn't think he would hit, and he did. But yeah, TJ McConnell's a heat killer. Let's go. Lopez not locking in Drummond. Okay. If Brown's out, Tatum, Smart, and Kemba. If Brown's out, I'm leaning to Celtics. Yep. 10-game slate, many players are going to have great. Yeah, 100%. Doncic ain't going to suck forever. He's too talented. He's not sucking, though. That's my case here. Doncic is not sucking right now. The teams that he's playing against are sucking. Like 43 fantasy points in 28 minutes. The 29 and 27 against Minnesota, whatever. But 53 and 30 minutes against Portland, like the per minute's been fine. He's just not having to play those extra minutes because they're smacking teams right now. So that's kind of my case here. Is he's not necessarily sucking. He's just like his fantasy his fantasy points at the end of the night have not been 10-7, 10-5 type of production, and now we bake him in a spot where it is projected to be a competitive game, 1 point spread. So a little bit of something to think about. Sean says Drummond averages a double-double against Brook. You're tripping. Lopez wins more games, but that's nothing to do with overall 1v1 performances. What are we talking about? Brook Lopez versus Drummond? We'll get there, but and maybe one of you guys know for sure now. Like, is Drummond ready to go? Like, is there conditioning concerns? He hasn't played in a while. I'm just speculating. I haven't seen anything yay or nay. So if you guys have a tell on that, let me know. Definitely going to want to look at Drummond, right? Have to realize, people, this isn't your normal NBA season. Teams are out playing the same minutes right now. It's almost bowl time. We're politicizing things. Houston Rockets at the Brooklyn Nets. Project starting five for the Rockets: John Wall, Kevin Porter, Daniel House Jr., Jay Tate, Christian Wood taking on James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Bruce Brown, Joe Harris, and DeAndre Jordan. We got a 230 total, a 12.5 point spread in favor of the home team Brooklyn Nets. We got a couple of cute tags on the Houston Rockets side of things. It looks like Christian Wood was going to be probable, but John Wall questionable with a left knee effusion. He's essentially dealing with a swollen knee, but Wednesday's game does not come as a back-to-back, so maybe he'll tough it out. We'll have a better idea on his status following tomorrow's shoot-around, but it wouldn't be surprising to see him get hit with a game-time decision. If he's forced to the sidelines, that would create more opportunity for guys like Sterling Brown, Kevin Porter Jr., and DJ Augustine. So John Wall news would be pretty important, I think. And if John Wall didn't play, I think this could be an opportunity for Kevin Porter to show up and show out. We still got Eric Gordon being out. Obviously, Oladipo's not on the team anymore. So yeah, I would be very interested in 5.5K Kevin Porter Jr., 6K on DraftKings if John Wall was out. You can almost make a case for Kevin Porter Jr. as is, just based on the price and what we know his potential output to be. And then Christian Wood is in a very intriguing spot, 7-7, 8-3. If you can get him to that 30-minute threshold, he does have Kelly Olynyk now on the squad to kind of not force the issue on him playing high 30 minutes on a lost season. But I think he'll lead the team in usage, likely with or without John Wall. And we love centers against the Brooklyn Nets. I read a quote last night, said the Nets are going to start transitioning away from DeAndre Jordan, understandably picking up guys like Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. So expect Jordan's minutes to go down and guys like Nicholas Claxton's minutes to continue to stay strong. And then maybe Blake and LaMarcus Aldridge start working their way into the mix as well. I probably don't land there today. I think Harden and Kyrie is the appropriate way to start and maybe finish your short entry interest in the Brooklyn Nets. But the more I think about it, like I think a lot of people are going to land Harden over Luka. And this game has a double-digit spread, and Luka's game has a 1-point spread. And I think there's a world where a blowout kills Harden here, and everyone has him, and Luka's right there in the mix. So I kind of like the idea of Luka over Harden in single entries. But no pushback pre-flop. Generally speaking, on Harden, almost a lock for a double-double with points and assists. And against the Houston Rockets, they're just bad at everything. There's enough rebound potential for Harden to get to that triple-double as well. And it does seem like they are trying to light the fuse on an MVP discussion for James Harden as well. And, I definitely wouldn't argue against that. Kyrie Irving is 9-6 on both sites. You're looking for 40, 50 fantasy points, probably 50-plus fantasy points, really. Very viable, very doable. Baby narrative in that last game. He was off to an extremely hot start. And then James Harden went off, and that was the night that Russell Westbrook had like 90. So Harden's performance was kind of in the shadows of Westbrook from a fantasy standpoint. But yeah, 3 games in a row for Kyrie dropping 50-plus fantasy points. He's right there in the thick of things. It's really just a matter, do you believe this game stays close? And even if it didn't, do you think there's enough minutes there for Kyrie to get you what you want? I think absolutely, 50 and 60 fantasy point potential. You handcuff them, throw a blanket over those 100-plus fantasy points. That's a very viable approach here. the spread scares me. The Rockets scare me. So I don't know. I'll be meditating on my personal exposure to Harden and Kyrie as we get closer to lock, because I do love the game theory. I pivot to Luka in a closer game, and Luka dropped 60 in that matchup earlier this season. Christian Wood, I think, is the decision. I think Christian Wood has 50-point potential if this game goes the Rockets' way in terms of staying competitive long enough, strong enough for him to be a 1.1, 1.2 to 1.3 fantasy point per minute kind of machine. And I love centers against the Nets, so the opportunity cost is lower than usual, I think, for the usage that might be coming his way and for how glorious the matchup is. So early on, I kind of want to stay tier 3 for Wood and kind of keep my ears out for maybe a Silas quote on whether or not Wood would be actually on a minutes limit or not. But he's definitely someone I got my eye on, right? Let's see what you guys got in chat before we move on to the next one. Blowout in Brooklyn, fade hard. Okay, Willie. Juliano says, Kelly Olynyk, 5,500. FanDuel's a lock if Wood is out. Yes, but I think Wood is probable. So I would agree with you in if Wood wasn't in. So if it came up that Wood was out or whatever, sure. Gasol may get bought out from the Lakers, reports say. Definitely possible. What's up, Tall? Saying that positive. Okay. Yeah, one of us is going to hit that 100K now. Let's go. Does Giannis remember how to play ball tonight? I hope so. Man, I take it simple. 3K, I will be happy with that, even if it's not 100K. Yeah, Dez. We're balling on a budget, man. No need to chase that 100K if you don't want to. Definitely more realistic expectations. Like tomorrow, I'm trying to make my plan of action, plan of attack for my baseball entries. And like the 100K to first on FanDuel is nice, but it's like 150K entries? Like the variance in baseball, that just seems like crazy. So I kind of like the $9 where it's just 10K to first, but I'm going against a lot less lineups. And Yahoo has some fun contests as well. There's a $15 over there with just like 11% rake. So yeah, it's not always about the 100K, but it is nice. And the fact that we have so many people hitting that 100K, it's like once a month somebody in our circle's hitting for 100K. It just makes you want to keep going, right? Exactly my point, Gun. These teams made moves, new faces, new places. Minutes is different. Yeah, I mean, yes, but I don't think that's like a blanket statement. Obviously, teams that made moves and teams that are now conceding the season and teams that are making a run and trying to adjust the new rotation. Yes, they're making changes, but I wouldn't just say like every team is different just for the sake of being different. It's a case by case. Not playing Luka versus Marcus Smart D when I have Harden versus the Rockets. Solid picks. Listen to what you're saying, bro. Come on, bro. Luka Doncic, DKP by game log versus Marcus Smart last 5 games. 56, there's a 36 and 35, 29 minutes, 31 minutes. So his last game was 2 years ago. He dropped 56 on him, 34 real points. I don't know what Marcus Smart's minutes look like that game. We'll go pull it up. But I would not... yes, Marcus Smart's a great defender, but Luka is just Luka. Marcus Smart played 37 minutes that game, and Luka dropped a 30 bomb, 9 free throws. So I don't know. I wouldn't get away from that. Yo, how do I turn Slack notices off? I swear I muted it, and now Harden get the triple-double in the first half if he wants. He could. Like, Harden's a beast. Like, I'm definitely not the type to run off of a player because of a blowout, but we have to understand that it could, with two guys like Kyrie and Harden, like, it could leave him at 50. Like, a Harden 50 fantasy points would hurt at that price. What's up, Mech? GD, how does McDaniels and Isaiah Roby on FanDuel look for power forward? Yeah, I think they look really, really strong. Jaden McDaniels a little bit more iffy, a little bit more improving, but Isaiah Roby's in a spot, especially with Pokusevski's out, to be a solid play, points per dollar. I got no pushback on that. Fading Utah gives you good leverage tonight. I haven't looked at ownership projections yet, But I would imagine with Mitchell out, a lot of people are going there. Houston's pathetic. Harden not going to put out and risk injury. Yeah, maybe not. Roby's 42% owned. That's strong, but I understand it. I faded Harden for Luka 2 slates ago and got murked when Harden dropped like 80 on the T-Wolves. I thought it was going to be a blowout. We can't. If goldfish memory, tall. Like Luka was in a blowout too, so or Luka was in a blowout, so it hurt him. But his per minute production was stronger. I definitely don't walk away from this from me saying fade Harden. Obviously, Harden's an elite player and always a great spot. But I'm just saying, if you some of you guys are deeper field tournament players and understand and appreciate the idea of pivots and really just leveraging ownership, there's likely going to be some leverage in taking a Doncic over a Harden, and their range of outcomes probably similar. Maybe Harden's floor day-to-day is a little stronger, but the range of outcomes probably similar at the price point, and there's not a 0% range of outcomes for Doncic to be the better play. So that's kind of the point I'm kind of driving home, but I'm not saying 100% Doncic is a better play than Harden. I'm just from a game theory mindset. Wesley Matthews revenge. Yep. Smart defense is a factor. Just click Harden and move on. It is a factor, but it's also Luka Doncic. There's some players that defense just doesn't matter because of what they do: rebounds, assists, scoring. And the way defense is set up in the NBA today, team defense is more important than ISO defense, because you're not getting a lot of ISO basketball. It's a lot of set screens and pick and rolls and stuff like that, and it's not fair. But I'm not. If you got respect for Smart and that's keeping you off of Doncic, definitely not pushing back on that. Knicks at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Next game on the docket. Projects running 5 for the Knicks. Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Nerlens Noel taking on Ricky Rubio, Malik Beasley crossing over with Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, and Karl Anthony Towns, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd. We got 218.5 total. 3.5 points spread in favor of the visiting New York Knicks. Derrick Rose questionable. Mitchell Robinson out with the fractured hand. Julius Randle looking like a strong play on both sides, but especially FanDuel at 9.3. Look at that 9K area. There's Jason Tatum. There's like Domantas Sabonis, guys like that. And Julius Randle has every right to being one of the top 4 scoring players on today's slate, considering the matchup. 35 minutes against the Miami Heat, 31 FanDuel points. Tougher matchup is what it is, but you look past that, 31's rough, 44 is rough against Washington in back-to-back games. I would really like to believe that 50-plus fantasy points is a more common range of outcome than not in this spot, and the more front court minutes do exist with Mitchell Robinson down again. I just think Randall's in a really, really good spot. My projections right now are listing him at 45 and 47 fantasy points on FanDuel and DraftKings respectively. So he's probably going to start as a tier 3, and we probably move from there. I don't think I'm going to tier 1 any 9K player today. I think I'm going to have a really solid balance price point as my core players tonight, and then we'll shuffle in the heavy guys price-wise responsibly and tier those guys probably in the 2 and 3s. On the Knicks guard rotation, they could have as much as Peyton, Bullock, Burks, Rose quickly. If they have that, it's not going to be fun pre-flop to predict who does the best. There's a little bit of a fun revenge narrative for everyone, a Tom Thibodeau revenge narrative, Derrick Rose revenge narrative, stuff like that. So if you want to buy into that, they're back in front of maybe some old friends in Minnesota. I'm sure Thibodeau would love to win this game handedly, mightily, and if Derrick Rose under 5K on DraftKings means something to you, I wouldn't push back. His per minute production upside is there. 26 minutes against Miami, dropped 24 fantasy points. He is questionable with left ankle soreness. If Rose did miss, I'd feel a little bit better about some shots on Alec Burks. Reggie Bullock might play deeper minutes. I'm probably not going to get up today to play Elfrid Payton. And then 7K on RJ Barrett probably feels a little bit strong to me. On the T-Wolf side, it's kind of a rough guesstimate between Beasley and Edwards. potentially eating at each other's ceiling. I do think Beasley's still cheap enough at 5.6 that here and there at this price point he's going to be a solid play, but most of my interest is going to be in Karl-Anthony Towns. He's 10-8 on FanDuel, so you really got to go up there and get him, and the risk of him busting and destroying your lineup is that much greater. 9.8 on DraftKings, you're getting a little bit better of a deal. Towns is just really in a good place right now. Finally has talent around him that's going to be able to give him some 8-6 assist games here and there, and then the double doubles are just kind of going to come naturally. So could we get a near 30 real point game, double 50 plus fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games? Decent spot. Earlier this season he dropped 60 against the Knicks. I think he's in the mix, but again, probably going to be in that tier 3 box for me, just because I don't want to hang my hat by coring a 10K guy, because if Cat drops 50 today, like 50 sounds good, but 50 at 10-8 may not really be what you want on a 10-game slate, and you can kind of make up the difference elsewhere. So I'm not going to core him at that price, but definitely going to have him in the mix for me. Nerlens Noel, also an intriguing option. Taj Gibson benefiting from the absence of Mitchell Robinson. Deeper minutes there, but nothing that I want to drive home and be aggressive with. So really, if I'm making a short list, it's probably Randall, Cat. Jaden McDaniels definitely has a case. Maybe he's going to be more owned than he should be, but he definitely has a case to be owned today. Last slate, I think he ended up being a trendier click, and he put up 39 fantasy points. That seems like a little bit of an anomaly. The ceiling-wise, he had 4 blocks and a steal. The Knicks do give up a decent chunk of blocks, amongst the most in basketball. So if that's part of his game, yeah, maybe Jaden McDaniels, especially on FanDuel where we weight blocks a little bit stronger, maybe Jaden McDaniels is somebody that we should be looking at. And if he's going to have these minutes, 33, 36, 38 in the last 3 games, yeah, I really can't come up with a strong case against him. I'm just hoping that we don't wake up today and later and Naz Reid and what I'm saying, Naz Reid was back in the mix and the Vanderbilt type. So definitely don't mind taking some stabs at McDaniels. I think you could argue all of the Minnesota starters. I'm not going to do that. I think you could argue that they all have a place at their price point today, but you would have to concede that they're pretty volatile, especially a guy like Anthony Edwards. So Jaden McDaniels definitely has a case to be a core value. Cat's in the mix, probably is a tier 3. Beasley on FanDuel only probably for me right now, if that, and then Randall, and that's it for me. And then based on Derrick Rose news, I might end up there, I might not, right? Let me get caught up on chat just a second, right? Harden's going to use the game to get Blake more involved on offense. Yep. Maybe. And if he does that, it's just more assists, right? So, Harden's still strong. I kind of get the impression that maybe people think I'm not on Harden tonight. I am. I'm a tournament guy. I'm just trying to spit some pivots and some options to maybe leverage the ownership, right? I don't know what y'all talk about Wesley Matthews, but I'm not there. How do you feel about Rodney Hood tonight as value? I don't really like to play Rodney Hood generally. He's cheap enough, I guess. 20 minutes in his last game. It's Rodney Hood. I don't think I'm there. If you have the Cajones to go there, go for it. I don't think we need to. It's 10-game slate. Last night, you played some crazy plays. Tonight, we don't have to. Hopefully. Des has signed me up for Noel for some good value. I don't mind that. I'm fine with centers against the T-Wolves. I would be curious to see if Noel has more of the ISO defense on Cat, because Noel, for what it's worth, Noel's not really going to get you a great scoring game. He's a dunker, right? He's not going to create his own shot more than not. You just need him to go out there and dunk and get rebounds. And if Cat's going to bring him away from the paint a bit more, maybe his rebound potential dips. And at 4.9, I really want that 30 fantasy points. He dropped 24 last time, 10 points, 9 rebounds. Just missed the double-double. I didn't even know that was possible to get 10 and 9 and just get 23. But yeah, I'm with it, but I also just don't see how he blows 30 fantasy points out the water. So if I feel like I'm paying for his ceiling at this price, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know that he gives me what I want to take a tournament home, at least upside wise. Brandon, what's up, Brandon? Patrick 45 going. What's up with Drummond tonight on FanDuel? Cheap. When we get to that game, we'll try and get some info on what we might expect from him minute wise and conditioning wise. He is cheap, but he hasn't played live rounds in the NBA in quite some time, so we'll see. I'm gonna hit that nickel first spot on FanDuel. Let's go. Randall to see Rui and Bam, so I don't count that. But the T-Wolves, oh yeah, lock and load. We're not running from Rui. Bam's alright. Rui, we're not running from Rui. I'm not, at least. Pete says, Randall possible tier 1. I will not be crossing over with Anthony Edwards. I'll have a couple shares of Cat. Nick's guard rotation like the Pistons. Good luck. Yep, agreed. Jimmy Buckets 9K. Yep, I'm with that. I ain't count on Wesley Matthews. Yeah, not that. Okay, Oklahoma City Thunder hosting the Toronto Raptors. Next game on the docket, projects 25 for the Raptors. Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Aaron Baines taking on Theo Maledon, Svi Mykhailiuk, Kenrich Williams, Isaiah Roby, and Moses Brown. A 221 total, 7.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Toronto Raptors. Kyle Lowry listed as out. Patrick McCaw listed as out. Bembry's out. Harris is out. The Raptors starting 1 through 4, VanVleet, Trent, Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, all 100% viable today. This is a team without Norman Powell. I think Trent's fine, but he's not Norman Powell scoring-wise in his shot selection. So I definitely think VanVleet and Siakam are two guys we want to probably be bullish on from where I'm sitting now. I'm going to go do some service here, use that on-off court tool. And we're going to take off... We're going to take off Lowry and Norman Powell. And we're going to put on just VanVleet and Siakam to get us a little bit of sample size on how this team looks without Lowry and Powell. So only 144 minutes of sample size this season. The usage rate's at 30% apiece on Siakam and VanVleet. Both of them a fantasy point per minute or greater. Both of them a 26% assist rate. So it looks like they're an incredible correlation play as it stands. And then if sample size, we'd like it to be a little bit larger, but that's incredible. If we go elongate on that a little bit, go to last season. Still not a ton of sample size there, but the numbers aren't that drastically different. 32% usage on Siakam, 25% on VanVleet. Both of them with fantasy point per minute, and the assist rate, near 20% or greater for both. VanVleet at 35%. So I would probably say in cash games, I want to start my lineup with a VanVleet and Siakam. I know we've talked about the Utah Jazz and Harden and guys like that, but VanVleet and Siakam seem like they can combine for 100 fantasy points here, and I only need them to combine for 80 at these price points. So I like that a lot as a slate starter, and that's probably what I do. And then Chris Boucher's in the mix as well. Not the front end of the pick here, but it's VanVleet, Siakam, easily 1 and 2 for me. And then a guy like OG Anunoby, Anunoby, at 38 minutes, that's just like a lot of minutes to go out there and get. And this Thunder team projects bad at everything. They're going to be bad at rebounding. They're going to be bad, some sloppy basketball, young guys that don't have a ton of chemistry. Anunoby's kind of a stock getter, get you some block steals, something like that. So I definitely don't mind going VanVleet, Siakam at the top tier, and then if we take a step backward, we go get those minutes for Anunoby, and then a step even further backwards, a guy like Gary Trent is probably going to be a little bit more scoring dependent, so we don't want to rank him as high, but he's right there in the mix, puncher's chance at that price point. On the Thunder side, we've got Mike Muscala, SGA, Lou Dort, Darius Baisley out. We got Pokusevski out and Ty Jerome questionable. So this rotation could be pretty thin. Really, the guys that I want to look at is one, Moses Brown, who has had some monstrous games when given the opportunity. He's going against a Raptors team that has been suffering against talented opposing bigs. And not just at the center spot, but just like overall. I think he has a case Today we saw DeAndre Ayton a couple games back drop 34 fantasy points in 30 minutes. Jokic 41 and 30, Christian Wood 26-29. Like the matchup is solid enough, and I do think I think Canner wasn't Canner against the Raptors the other day. I don't want to pull up Nurkic because Nurkic was on a restriction, but Canner played 18 minutes against Toronto, 8 rebounds, 10 boards. It's a matchup that I'm not running from, is what I'm trying to say. So if I get to Moses Brown, that's fine with me. Isaiah Roby at 5K, 5.4 on both sides is fine. It's a strong play. I don't maybe think it's like we said he might be 40% owned. I don't know if it's 40% owned strong, but it's fine. I would, it's probably embarrassing to run an on-off court query there. But I think it's fine. 25-35 is probably the median range of outcome. Svi McCalley gets an interesting click as a guy that might be a top 2-3 guy in field goal attempts for them. And then Maladon, just from go out there and play some pure point guard. So maybe Svi and Roby and Moses Brown, but I don't want to put a high hope on any of them. And if Ty Jerome were to miss, I think Ty Jerome is their best chance at a pure point guard in this lineup. If Jerome were to miss, then kind of all bets are off. I think Maladon might have to go back. He had a big assist game not that long ago. I think he would have to go back to that game style if Jerome weren't able to compete. And I 5'6", do I would probably, if I looked up and he had 35 fantasy points, then I'd probably feel bad. But oof, man, I just don't trust him like that. So maybe you give me some CV McCallick as a cheap guy that should be a team leader in shot attempts, 10, 11, 10 in the last couple games. A peripheral here and there, but you're really going to be a little bit more scoring dependent than you would want to be. But with if Ty Jerome's not able to go, then I really have questions on how this team can make their own shots, because Jerome, I think, is really talented as a actual point guard for them. That gets ugly. That gets really ugly really fast. I guess Roby and Moses Brown, like it's on them or not, and then Svi to hit some shots in the clutch. So I don't want to get too invested in Thunder on a 10-game slate. Just trying to spitball how things would kind of shake out. Ty Jerome, by the way, was listed as questionable with a right ankle sprain. If he did play, I'd probably play him. Like, if he was fine and active at this price, I'd probably play him, because I think it would be on him to create some plays here today. So maybe put that in the back burner as a potential tournament play. I wouldn't mind landing there. Let me get caught up on chat. You guys are on it. Rui is the reason PJ Washington owes you and me money. PJ Washington was the reason. Like, not knocking Rui, but come on, bro. For every PJ Washington against Rui, I can give you guys that drop 50 against the Wizards. Maybe I'll sleep on Rui. We did say that Julius Randle didn't have huge fantasy games, but come on. you got to be not one of the worst defenses in the league for me to run from you. PJ's PJ. PJ did this earlier this season, right? Was it PJ that went bananas against like the Suns, and then the next night dropped a deuce against the Blazers, or vice versa? Like, I feel like that happened. So PJ just has that potential to be a jerk. Y'all know I'm the Game Theory Whisperer. I called the Melo versus Melo. Okay, all right. Uncomfortable click of the day, Chris Boucher at 5K. Yeah. But he has so much upside. We know that for sure. If Raps lose to OKC, I give up. Raptors are not looking great. They're not looking great. Willie says Moses is a tier 1. Oh, take a stand. Is Moses a tier 1 right now? I would say no. Tier 1's a little strong, depending on what site we're talking about. I think Siakam has every right to be in a tier 1. Maybe I'd probably definitely start him as a high end tier 3. Maybe gets to tier 2. I don't hate him. 7K on DK, you're asking a lot. I definitely don't hate him, but also like tier 1 is aggressive on a 10 game slate. Like to be a tier 1 on this side slate, I have to be for sure that median range of outcomes, you hitting value with some upside, and I don't have that confidence on him, right? Coach is gonna get 55 handshakes. Let's go. Stack your 7 o'clock games with the sprinkle the late games. Okay, Moses 34 minutes and he's 6x. Maybe. He has the potential. Like, I'm going to have exposure to Moses Brown tonight, but the question was, is he a tier 1? And tier 1 to me means, am I going to have a baseline of like 40% of him when lock hits in like 150, probably around 50 lineups tonight? Am I going to have 40% of them in 50 lineups? Probably not. But I'm also more of a FanDuel play, so it's not as fair. Stat Muse, what do you want at Stat Muse? I like Pirtle over Moses. I love Jakob Pirtle. Yo, come pick one, Robert Williams or Moses. I would say if Jaylen Brown is out, Robert Williams. If Jaylen Brown is in, it's a coin flip. I love Robert Williams, and for me, Robert Williams has a little bit more of a track record to kind of trust, right? Hield or Beasley, pick one. Go, man, we out here. Hield or Beasley? Give me a second. Against the Spurs, probably Hield, but there's definitely like not a high level of confidence, right? Let's move on to the next game here. Utah Jazz at the Memphis Grizzlies. Project starting 5 for the Jazz. Mike Conley, Joe Ingles, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and Rudy Gobert taking on John Morant, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, Kyle. The Andersons got tickets to the game. How'd they get tickets? Jonas Valanciunas, 226.5 star total, 5.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Utah Jazz. Watch that starting lineup. Like, Joe Ingles has started in lieu of Mike Conley before, and maybe Jordan Clarkson would kind of be the guy to replace Donovan Mitchell scoring, or maybe they're just like, Jordan Clarkson's got to win 6th man of the year, so we don't want him to start, and maybe they roll that out. Utah Jazz will be without Donovan Mitchell here, which creates an opportunity for some revenge game narrative to have some advanced metrical substance in Mike Conley at 6K on FanDuel, 5.8K on DraftKings, and he's going to be in the grindhouse. Limited fans in the grindhouse, but a long, long time for Mike Conley in his career. A lot of ties to the Memphis community and a lot of friends in the Memphis organization. So you feel like he wants to come in here and put up a nice little show. Last week, the Grizzlies were in Utah, and they put up a fight on night 1. So maybe he's looking for a little bit of I don't know, retribution. We're just making stuff up while I filled air time to go run this on-off court tool. So we want to go to the on-off court tool free feature on Fantasy Labs. We're going to take off Donovan Mitchell, and we're going to put on Sir Mike Conley and just kind of see the numbers we're dealing with from this season. We have a decent chunk of sample size, 488 minutes. Conley is a point per minute with a 23% usage rate. Jordan Clarkson's at 30%, so you kind of stagger when Clarkson's on and when Clarkson's off, so know that that's what it is when Clarkson's on the court. But if we concentrate a little bit more on just Conley's opportunity, his usage goes to 33% in 31 minutes of sample size without Mitchell or Clarkson. So yeah, no matter what, like, I think Conley projects well, and Conley's at a pretty reduced price. I would be kind of upset if I got the median projected output for me that's at 30 fantasy points, but at the same time, 30 fantasy points, you know, if you hit value, you don't kill me. I would like a little bit more. Am I overrating the narrative? Maybe just a tad, but at the price, I'm okay to be that guy. Jordan Clarkson is probably the guy that I would look at to really play the Donovan Mitchell role. What I mean by that, he's probably their best scoring option, consistent. Like Bojan Bogdanovic can drop a 20-30 here and there, but he's more inconsistent. On this season, Donovan Mitchell's averaging almost 26 real points per game, and that's a lot of production to replace. And I do think Jordan Clarkson, when given the opportunity, could do just that. He's already averaging 17 points per game, so maybe we build off of that. I got him projected right there about 30 fantasy points on both sites as well. And on FanDuel, he's $1,000 cheaper than Mike Conley. So he might even be higher owned if you took out the narrative speculation, and that's fine. Only thing I wish Jordan Clarkson was for me as a FanDuel multi-guy. Jordan Clarkson is a point guard eligible player now. For the longest time, he was shooting guard, and I loved giving up like a second shooting guard spot. But I guess you can make a case that maybe this is your opportunity at like a Harden and Luka, so you're still getting two upper echelon point guards, and then having a guy like Jordan Clarkson to kind of fill it out. I think there's a world where Joe Ingles can fight for 30. Bojan Bogdanovic, we have this saying in the RunDFS.com VIP community that he's 15 or 50. He just seems to have that big of a range of outcomes where some games he's going to not contribute to your lineups in a favorable fashion, and then some days he's dropping 30 fantasy points. Well, and this is one of those matchups that I can make a case that without Donovan Mitchell, should Joe Ingles start, I can see Bojan being one of the guys they lean on a lot from the wing to make those shots. In that first game against Memphis, he shot 8 for 15, 17 real points, not much in lieu of peripherals, a couple rebounds here and there. But if he built on that 17 real points, went to like a 25, at under 5K, just chipping a chair for 30 plus fantasy points. And the Grizzlies do allow a decent chunk of points via the three ball, and we know Bojan could shoot some threes for them. Also, Rudy Gobert, I'm interested to see how he does with and without Mitchell here. So Gobert is averaging 1.2 fantasy point per minute in this role, with a 19% usage rate. So the fantasy per minute production is there. I'm fine with playing Gobert 8-2, 8-1. I don't think center is like super strong at anybody, honestly. Like Cat is fine, but like if you get 50 from Cat at 9-8, cool, that's what we need. Same with Randall. So Gobert, I think, has a little bit of meat on his bone at 8-1, where I can live with 40 and know I can build from 40. And he hasn't gotten me less than 40 in 3 games straight. The one game he did drop less than 40 was a laugher of a game against the Brooklyn Nets F-League team, where their best player was Alize Johnson. So more often than not, I'm going to walk away with 40 fantasy points from Gobert, and I think that's a solid price point at 8.1. The 2 games against Memphis, a couple games back, 41 and 40. So, yeah, you can give me Rudy Gobert. I can handcuff him to Conley. I can handcuff him to Clarkson and feel just fine about it. I'm probably not going to go crazy with Grizzlies exposure. I never do. There's just a team that is pretty diluted minutes-wise. John Morant has the potential, I think, at under 7K to be a problem on FanDuel. That first game, Morant played extremely high minutes against Utah. 37 minutes, dropped 55, and then the curtain called it with 26. So I do think there's some variance in Morant's minutes game to game. I think it's worth taking some stabs on if you have enough lineups to give them a little bit of that equity for long shots, because at 6'8", there is a ceiling worth going for. But the rest of these guys, I don't think on a 10-game slate I'm going to be too invested in. So a little kiss of Morant, plenty of Conley, Ingles, Clarkson, and Gobert, and then Bojan's just kind of the fringe value look for me right now. Let me get caught up on chat. I just kind of got like lost in a little bit of a random, right? Young C, off topic, but gonna give up on Jokic, so next game he's definitely getting a triple-double. Yo, you're at the Jokic triple-double slot machine, bro. Quarter, pool. I have this mic. This is the pool slot machine. And then it's gonna pay out. We have props now on the show, bro. We've got a budget. Dad says, Gunn, how do you feel about OG Anunoby? So many minutes for under 7K, and without Lowry, I'm 100% okay with looking at Anunoby as a stocking stuffer. It feels weird to call him a stocking stuffer at over 6K, but he's going to eat minutes, and I think he'll be just fine, right? healed because Beasley's been out so long. Beasley's been back a couple games, but I think Beasley has to compete with Cat's usage, with Anthony Edwards' usage, Rubio to facilitate. So I think the Beasley price on FanDuel is worth a click here and there, but understand like it comes with volatility. Clarkson's a lock, chucking tonight. Huge usage potential. Yeah, I'm up with that. Why does my screen keep flicking? I don't know if you guys see that, but it's like it keeps happening. So I don't know if I have a loose wire or something, but Joe Dirt will have a big usage boost tonight. Yeah, how many of you guys were listening to me on speaker just now? And I got you. Wives all across the country looking what? Huh? Why talking Conley the plays Clarkson way more potential? I agree. Clarkson's ceiling is 40, 50 fantasy points, but I'm not going to dismiss Conley, right? Did y'all hear about the Utah Jazz emergency landing after collision with birds? I did not. That's wild. I'm glad everyone's okay. Gun, what is Luka Doncic's prize pick projection? I will look that up. That's an amazing segue there. Solid picks. Give me a second. Gobert. Let's see. Gobert will be 4% owned when Mitchell is out. Conley runs more pick and roll with Gobert. Here comes that 50 ball. Boom, boom, boom. Anyone on Super Draft? Guys, do you guys play on PrizePicks? Also, what was that? I just saw a promo. I'll put up on a main screen. The question was, what was Luka's prize pick projection? So, Control F, Doncic. He is at 52 fantasy points on PrizePicks. That's low. I remember these are basically FanDuel OUs, right? If you guys are watching and you're not sure what the F PrizePicks is, man, you guys need to get on it. PrizePicks is one of my favorite ways to play DFS right now, and they've worked out a deal for the members of this community that want to try them out. PrizePicks.com. If you sign up using code GUNDACKER, they're going to double your first deposit up to $100, and they'll support the stream, knowing that you sent it or that you guys came through our little community. In addition to getting a instant deposit bonus. By the way, when I say instant, boom, it's there. You deposit $20, now you have $40 to play with tonight on the site. None of that slow drip. You got to play through it 82 times twice on Tuesdays, but Thursdays don't count. You get it. But if you sign up using code GUNDACKER, today is the last day to do so. Everyone who signed up on PrizePicks using code GUNDACKER this month will be eligible to win a month pass at RunDFS.com. We'll probably make that announcement tomorrow, depending on when we do the stream tomorrow, or on Twitter, twitter.com/GunDacker. So check that out. If you're not sure what PrizePicks is, it's prop bets meets DFS. They allow you to create parlays based on player fantasy point projections. You bet the over-under, and then you can isolate single stats, bet real points, bet assists, bet rebounds, bet 3 points made. So it's a good way to better reward your research, or another way to reward your research, and not feel obligated to find guys on or roster guys in DFS, right? Because maybe their salary is a little too tough, but maybe you like their PrizePicks projection line. Is Justin Holiday on here? Holiday is. So Justin Holiday's at 2.5 3 points made. Talked about the Miami Heat allowing these second most points per game via the 3-ball. And Justin Holiday chucks a lot of threes. He does. A lot. You know what? I'm doing all this stuff and I'm not even screen sharing. Justin Holiday chucks a lot of threes. That's true. We want Justin. 6-5 in 2 games against Miami. He is 10 for 19 from 3. I tell you what, man. If we got a McDermott and a Jeremy Lamb out, I kind of like Justin Holiday over 2.5 threes against Miami. Check that out. Like I said, you can bet 3-pointers made, rebounds, assists, points, all that stuff. Also, their fantasy projection, the projection score is based on not based, but it's the same scoring as FanDuel. So if you want to put the sites at war with each other, you can logistically go to PrizePicks. and you want to play on FanDuel, go check out the fantasy score over-unders for PrizePicks. And maybe PrizePicks has some big projections on some players. And you're like, PrizePicks knows what they're talking about. They have this guy projected for this as an OU. Let me go play that against the FanDuel algorithm. And I think that's a solid approach. So if you want to use information out there, like they have James Harden at 57 FanDuel points. They had Luka at 52. Couple softer spots. Conley's at 34. Gobert's at 43. Like, there's some spots where you can maybe use these projections to your advantage, and I've talked about this with the tiers offering on DraftKings. You kind of see how they group players together. There's a reason, right? So check out PrizePicks. Tell them I sent you. Use code GUNDACKER. Get that bonus. Boom. Let's get caught up on chat before we finish up. Gobert will be 4% owned when Mitchell's out. Conley runs more pick and roll. Gobert comes at 50. I love that call. Rank on FanDuel: Robert Williams, Moses, or Gobert. For floor, Gobert. I get you could even say for ceiling Gobert, like the gap between Robert Williams and Rudy Gobert is not that huge price wise, right? We got 6'3", well maybe 6'3" to 8K is Moses 6'7" to 8K, so it's like a $1,500 jump. So $1,000 of fantasy salary to me is worth about 6 points. So do I think Rudy Gobert gives me a 6 point higher floor? Maybe we make that 8.5 point higher floor than Brown and Robert Williams. Probably. So probably Gobert 1 in that 3-man selection, and then Robert Williams 2, Moses 3. One thing I do want to look at when I get off the air is to see how good Moses is at creating his own shot, because a lot of his fantasy potential is lately or his ceiling, like 23 rebounds against Boston. I think we should understand that that's an anomaly. Like 20 rebounds is just not normal. So even if he is like a hustle guy against Toronto, as bad as Toronto's been, like I would probably think that one of the better ranges of outcome is like 13 to 15 rebounds. So we could take off 7-8 points there, and then I'm wondering how good he is at creating his own shots. So I'm gonna watch some tape here, see what we come up with. He's not really a stretch five. Looks like a lot of his scoring is gonna come in the paint. And like against Toronto, I like that's fine. Toronto's been okay at defending the paint, actually. If you look at their points in the paint allowed, Toronto has been second at defending points in the paint. So yeah, I'd probably have Moses 3, Robert Williams 2, and then Gobert 1. Anybody on Super Draft? I used to be on Super Draft. I haven't played there in a while. Maybe I should check them out. What up, Rich? Hagun Clarkson over 4 rebounds. That's tough. I don't know if I'm there. And Moses Brown over 11.5. Over 11.5 is interesting. Rebound-wise, I could see that. But I don't have like a warm feeling on that, right? No warm and fuzzies. TJ McConnell, 9 points, 14 18 steals. Let's go. Justin Holiday over PrizePicks 3 is good call, guy. Yeah, I like that. Harden under on PrizePicks picks money in your pocket. The under 57. It is FanDuel scoring, but that's tough. I like J Val over Rudy. All right. Val or Gobert. For me, it's Gobert. But yeah, I'm not here to argue. We're just here to talk to Slate, talk some play. So if you got that feeling in your bad knee with the storm of brewing, and you like Jonas Valanciunas, well then gosh dang it, you play Jonas Valanciunas. But I'm probably gonna play Gobert. That's just me. Let's move on to the next game. Sacramento Kings at San Antonio Spurs. Project starting 5 for the Kings: De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Rashawn Holmes taking on Dejounte Murray, Derek White, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, and Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? Guys, we just talked about all these centers, and Jakob Poeltl is the best gosh dang play on the slate. He just is. Like what? 6'1" for Jakob Poeltl, 5'8" on DraftKings. Where is the issue? Where is the concern? He just does it. He just gets it done. He had us all thinking he was going for 1,000,000 points the other night, where he had 27 fantasy points in the first quarter, finished with 40. Jakob Poeltl is probably the most underpriced, disrespected play on the slate. Tier 1. What? Tier 1. What? Tier 1. It's the Sacramento Kings, the worst defense in all of basketball. I really got no pushback here. Jakob Poeltl with a 40 bomb. Larry Nance dropped 39 fantasy points in 34 minutes against him. Clint Capella 53 in 31 minutes. It's just such a good spot. We go look at the team metrics chart in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet. Points in the paint allowed. Guess who gives up the most points in the paint? That would be the Sacramento Kings. So all about some Jakob Poeltl tonight. I just think points per dollar, he's going to exceed this in this spot more than he's not. Yes, they did add Zhang and whatnot, but I still think Jakob Poeltl is your 30-minute guy, and 30 minutes in this matchup, I want it. So give me Jakob Poeltl. On the Kings side, I think they're all in play. I think they have a short rotation. Hassan Whiteside, questionable. He's missed a couple games. If he misses, a little bit more on a minute projections there for like Rashawn Holmes. But really, really cheap opportunity at 34-plus minutes on Halliburton, Hield, Harrison Barnes. And then De'Aaron Fox, he's made it to 10K on FanDuel, 9-3 on DraftKings. He has got a really, really nice stretch of games where he's been putting up 50 bombs all day long, all day strong. 44 and a quarter against San Antonio his last time out. 55, 63, 50, 49. So on DraftKings, I still think there's plenty of viability in rostering De'Aaron Fox today. The minute projections are still incredibly high, and the matchup's still really fruitful. We love point guards against the San Antonio Spurs. On the season, it's been a top 3 matchup in terms of fantasy points allowed. So no pushback here if you want to get to Fox. It'll likely be in my player pool. Probably going to start him as a high-end tier 3 for now. We'll see if he has wiggle room to get to it too. But I think on FanDuel, it's going to be hard to do that with the infatuation with Jordan Clarkson. Why is my screen doing this, bro? Tonight, I'm going to unplug everything. And just kind of reset it. It's a good opportunity to dust anyway, right? San Antonio Spurs, other than Jakob Poeltl, I'm not going to be overly invested in. I can understand loose cases here for DeRozan, White, Dejounte Murray. If you get there, you get there. I probably don't, but I don't know. I might end up with a tad bit. Like, it's still the worst defense in basketball, right? The Kings. So I might end up with, like, a tad of a DeRozan or a Murray or something like that. But Jakob Poeltl definitely has an opportunity to become one of my highest-owned players. No Lonnie Walker. A couple minutes there to fatten the load there for Derek White, maybe. And at under 6K, sure, yeah, maybe there's a chip in the chair for 30-plus fantasy points. So, yeah, maybe I'm a little more harsh on the Spurs guards and wings than I should be. But give me all the Jakob Poeltl. And then we got all the Kings in the mix. I'm going to be lightest on Holmes, but stocking stuff for tier 3s for minutes and opportunity. Halliburton, Hield, Barnes. I maybe set a correlation rule to not have too much overlap between Halliburton and Hield. And then Fox is Fox where we get them. Let's move on. Gun, give it to us straight. Is Fournier going to score over 0? Is there a line? Can we get Fournier over half a point? That would be great. Poeltl tier 1 LMFAO. Zhang's going to eat into Poeltl time to 27, 28. Dude, 28 minutes of 6K Jakob Poeltl, I'd probably still play. Against the Kings? Come on. Also, like, I've seen Zhang mentioned in chat a lot tonight. Are we expecting, like, Gorgie Zhang to be some thing for the Spurs? Like, I expect him to get opportunities, but, like, are we expecting him to be a 22-minute backup center? Is he even number 2 in the depth chart? Is not just, like, Drew Eubanks? I'm just asking. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Has there been reason to suspect that Gorgie Zhang is going to get a significant role here, or is it one of those Popovich veteran guys that he's going to lean on? Jakob Poeltl, no matter what. Like, 28 minutes, I'll take it. 32 minutes, I'll take it. I'm not scared of it. Like, how would you not be on Jakob Poeltl today? Like, what? Holmes has been consistent and so good. So consistent, so good. What's up, Jared? How you doing, bud? The minutes for Holmes is going to be strong. There is a world where, like, Hassan Whiteside does play today. But at 7.5 AK, like I need probably 45 in a 10-game slate to feel like it was a good play. And there is a world where 45 or less happen. So, yeah, if you get that 50 like you did against San Antonio last game, yeah, give him to me. Block. I love Rashawn Holmes, but I do think at this price point there is a floor that's a little less than stellar. But Holmes would be in the mix. All the Kings starting 5 have just been in my player pool every slate. I can't remember the last slate I didn't have 1 through 5 in the pool. Whether it be tier 3, 5 to 8%ers, they're in the pool just because the opportunity cost is really low, other than Fox and Holmes to just go after some of these minutes. And the Spurs matchup is fine. What's up, Mike? I love playing against the Kings. Yes, sir. What up, Mark? Gorgie Zhang is the best. Gorgie Zhang is the best wrestling name. Why did San Antonio pick up Zhang to rest Podol? I mean, maybe, but also just for depth, and they could, right? They didn't have LaMarcus Aldridge, so they just picked up Zhang. Like, I don't. Zhang is he's 31 years old. Like, I'm not saying Zhang's going to be a DNP or an 8-minute guy, but I don't necessarily think it's going to impact Pirtle significantly early on. You know, I don't know. I just don't feel like San Antonio went out picked up Gorgie Zhang for anything as just, hey, we need more centers. We got some depth. Here's a veteran that could help us out in practice, teach the young guys, and also just be a good, solid piece. So, Gorgie Zhang just might be LaMarcus Aldridge. And if Aldridge was active today, I'd probably still be playing Jakob Poeltl right now against the Kings. Poeltl is one of the best at defending the paint. Yep, Moses, Gobert ceiling too much higher than Poeltl. The ceiling, yes, ceiling is higher, but the floor is arguably the same, at least on Moses. Like, you could argue that Jakob Poeltl's floor here is a little higher than Moses. You could argue that. Gobert, I think his floor and ceiling is a little tighter spread, 40-50. But Poeltl's floor is so high, and the fact that I can project Poeltl to be to outperform his salary at such a high clip, I'll just take that. I'm not going to have 100% in 50, but if I take that in my center spot and get that savings to kind of beef up my high-end guards or my high-end wings or somebody like that, I'm going to do it. So definitely no reason not to be on Poeltl, right? Jaylen Brown's available. Okay, so with Jaylen Brown available, that spreads out not spreads out, but that offers a little bit more, or I would say maybe a little less minute floor for Robert Williams, right? I'm not gonna tweak his projection just yet because I already had Brown as in my projected minutes, but you get what I'm saying. Like, Robert Williams probably has a safer minute floor if Brown's out and like Grant Williams is in the starting lineup, and Jason Tatum has to play a little bit more wing at 4. Now you can get away with 25 minutes of Robert Williams. So, and that's a guy like Robert. You want to talk about not playing 30 minutes? And again, this is not a knock on Robert Williams, but it's kind of weird to come at Jakob Poeltl for maybe playing 28 minutes when Robert Williams is just rarely going to get you that 30-minute threshold. Like, it's just rare. So, I don't know. I don't know where we're at. Our heads are at, chat. K. Williams as a pivot on FanDuel for who? Brown and Dang. All 3 Antetokounmpo brothers on the floor tonight. Let's go. Moses, you're Moses. Okay, Willie. Hey, I'm here for this. I like this. I like when a couple of you guys have strong stances here, because then it makes the next day eventful. I'm here for this. Chat, if you're watching, if you're a lurker and you think we're both idiots for Poeltl, and you're like, no, Mason Plumlee's the play, be part of the conversation, man. It's all love. Bucks project starting 5: Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez taking on Dennis Schroeder, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Kyle Kuzma, Markieff Morris, and Andre the Giant Drummond. A 221.5 star total, 8.5 point spread in favor of the visiting Milwaukee Bucks. Lakers went out and got them one. Andre Drummond, egregious price discrepancy between FanDuel and DraftKings. Just $5,200 on FanDuel, $7,800 on DraftKings. Hard to project Drummond at $5,200 to kill you, even if you put him at a softer minute projection like I have at 24 minutes. So A lot of you guys are on Drummond. I get it. I will probably end up with a little bit of Drummond in the mix as well. But I'm also like, if by the time lock hits, Drummond is like on a ridiculous ownership, I might just say, all right, I could probably take the Drummond average range of outcomes and get it from Pirtle and beyond, and maybe be a little bit of trying to leverage the field there. But I don't know where the field's at just yet. Drummond hasn't played since February 12th and the 10th, where he played 16, 17 minutes. So we do have some conditioning concerns. I would imagine he's been trying to stay ready, because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And I imagine that's been his game plan. So really cheap on FanDuel. So I understand the dilemma. I understand the debate. On DraftKings AK, I'm probably all the way out. Maybe there's a blurb that can give us a stronger tell on what his availability and what his leash might be. It says Drummond said he will play Wednesday against Milwaukee. Frank Vogel confirmed Drummond will be in the Lakers starting lineup after signing with the Lakers on Sunday. Drummond appears ready to play in his first game since the Cavs shut him down. Considering the layoff, the big man could be a little rusty, but the Lakers desperately need an influx of overall talent while LeBron James, AD remain out. Drummond will likely unseat Marc Gasol in the starting five, and there's a good chance he'll see big minutes right away. So there's a decent wide range of outcomes on what Drummond's minutes would be. The matchup is not great. Don't necessarily love centers against the Bucks, but that price is that price. So yeah, we're gonna have to get some of that. We still probably expect some run here from Montrezl Harrell. I definitely think that this pace favors Montrezl Harrell more than it favors Andre Drummond. I like Drummond a little bit more methodical pace stuff, and especially against matchups that really reward guys that can score in the paint. And the Bucks have not been that matchup for a while. If you look at the points in the paint allowed, the Milwaukee Bucks allow a bottom four amount of points in the paint. So I don't want to knock the play, but there is at least an argument or a little bit of pushback. Maybe it's fair to go pull up Drummond's history against the Bucks. I definitely know there's been times where I've been down on Drummond because of the matchup and he's popped off. But let's go look at Andre Drummond FTP by game log versus Bucks. Let's go last 10 games. And then also, is there a world where like a blowout happens? FTP by game log versus Bucks. Why did it give me like all these games? 46 and 30, 39 and 30, 59 and 30, 5K-ish on FanDuel. For tournament viability, I probably want to start at 30 fantasy points. Definitely viable. So this is really just a gut feeling. If you guys really think Drummond is in the spot to get you 30, go for it. Do you think 30 is his ceiling? And there's not a right or wrong answer. I'm just asking you, do you think 30 on 25 minutes is his ceiling in a tougher matchup? And is that a ceiling worth being invested in, right? Like if a guy can only give me 30 at 5K, I probably want a little bit more, but it's not to say 30 is the ceiling. He could come out here and drop 40. They could just feed him. Or the Milwaukee Bucks, their style of gameplay, if you're trying to win this basketball game, you're going to need guys chucking threes. You're going to need Schroeder, Kyle Kuzma, guys like that, KCP even, to shoot from longer range. So I don't know how committed you get to Drummond as far as the usage opportunity goes, but definitely the points per minute ability is there for Drummond, but I'm also not like convinced that he's the option one. We've seen him be option one on the Cavs, option one on the Pistons. He might be option three right now, and I don't know. I think that's something for everyone to think about. So I think early on I'll have way more Pirtle than Drummond, and if I see some egregious ownership projections on Drummond on FanDuel, I might fade it, but that's just me trying to be a little different. It's not me saying it's a bad play. 7-8 on DraftKings. Are we all out on that one? We're just not touching that one. Andre the Giant used hotel showers as his toilet. Yeah, I've heard some insane Andre the Giant road stories. Big dude. Dude, you guys watch that Rock show? The Rock on NBC? They got... it's so corny. But they have a character that plays Andre, and it's just like nothing like what Andre was. I'd be 100% on Drummond on FanDuel. Wow, it's really cheap. It's just really, do you trust the minutes for him? And he could play 30 minutes, and then he's an elite player, right? I just wish I had more to go off of. Drummond will be sucking air after 5 minutes. Fade Drummond. Gasol's a slug. Drummond's a turtle. Man, Willie is on one. I love it. Drummond going to be like Blake's return, 16 to 18 minutes first game. That's the thing. Like, if Drummond drops 30 in 20 minutes tonight, like, he was like a great per minute production guy. But if 30 is like where we stop our projections, how often is 30 from a center going to do some damage in tournaments? So, again, not a right or wrong way to approach that. It's just really what you guys expect or what you think could happen, you know? We got one game left in the docket. I got to be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord in just a few minutes. So, real quick, if you guys want to join me in the Discord voice chat, go to RunDFS.com. Make yourself a VIP, or make yourself an account. Sign up for VIP. We have week passes, 2-week pass, month passes. We got the All-Star break pass, and we did put up a pass that'll get you to the beginning of October. It's the full baseball pass, and the last month of the baseball coverage involves football. So really, it's a pass that saves you probably $200 versus the month pass every month. So if you guys want to check that out, it's up now. It probably won't be up for more than another day or two. It was really just my way of putting something up because a couple of the long timers had reached out to me on Twitter yesterday, and I was like, all right, we'll make a longer pass here. So go check that out. And right after the live stream, I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord in the voice channel. If you guys want to be part of that, there's a link to the Discord once you open VIP. And right here, NBA chat, you click on that, boom, you'll see me there. You pop in there, and you can listen in. Type questions in the chat if you're a little shy to start off with, or if you just got a lot of noise and you're vibing. Or you can grab a mic, join the conversation. You know, we'll have fun. There's a band of brothers in there poking fun at each other. What is it? It's Wednesday, so probably will be a Jordan versus LeBron debate at some point. It happens. But at the bulk of it, we're just having a good time, and we're making my player pool. And as we're in voice chat, I carve out the player pool, and you guys can compare your player pool to mine. You guys can tail mine. You guys can be completely different. Say Gun's an idiot. I'm doing the absolute opposite of what he's doing, but it's there. You also get access to my projections for DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, and the player props tab, which is a good companion tab for searching information to make some decisions on PrizePicks. So go check that out. We have minute projections, fantasy point projections based on the PrizePicks scoring, real points projected, rebounds projected, assists, PRA for sports books, and three-pointers made. All that completely accessible to you. And then in the morning, we have baseball. Yes. Oh, so stoked. I will probably have a lot of the baseball spreadsheet in terms of player pool and what I'm doing done tonight. And it's an early morning tomorrow, so check that out. And then, of course, most of you guys already know this, but on Friday we did the breakdown for tomorrow's slate last night on this channel. You can find that. And then on Friday, I probably won't have a breakdown. But I probably won't have a breakdown for Friday's slate on this channel. But you should, if you're up in the daytime, I'll be on the Osmo Live Before Lock MLB show at 4 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. And hopefully we can help you make some strong decisions for the Friday baseball slate. Main event tonight, Bulls at the Phoenix Suns. Project starting five for the Bulls: Tomas Satoransky, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, Thaddeus Young, Nikola Vucevic taking on Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and DeAndre Ayton. 217s are total, 7.5 point spread in favor of the home team. Phoenix Suns, Zach LaVine questionable, Kobe White questionable, Garrett Temple questionable. So this could get ugly real fast if the Bulls are without some of their fire power. We saw them without Kobe White the other night. And then tonight we have a Q tag on Zach LaVine, which would be huge. He has a sprained right ankle. He did not participate in Tuesday's practice, and he's being listed as questionable for Wednesday's matchup. He's been playing through the ankle issue over the past few games, but he aggravated the injury on Monday, so it's possible he'll need to skip Wednesday's game. Him sitting out practice is not a great sign, but we'll have a better understanding where he's at following tomorrow's shoot-around. That's from a report yesterday. If he can't give it a go, Lauri Markkanen may rejoin the starting group, and there will be more shots for Patrick Williams, Thaddeus Young, and newly acquired Nikola Vucevic. So I think at the end of the day, anytime I land at looking at a Chicago Bull, the low total, the tough matchup, it's going to make me a little bit sour at getting too aggressive here. I do think Tomas Satoransky is cheap enough to have a chip in a chair to be a strong play. But for the most part, I'm probably going to be a little light. If Levine did play, I do think he's at an interesting price point where 45 fantasy points is a reasonable output. But we also have to realize we probably don't have this information at lock and maybe not even an hour into lock. So we just probably make decisions elsewhere and hope that a Chicago Bull does not break the slate. On the Sun side, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, all viable options here. But again, I think I find stronger pivots at each price point, and I just go that way. So I want the late night hammer, but the hammer's probably got to kind of come either in that Lakers game, or maybe I just avoid that tonight and just stick with the early games. There's plenty of ways to play this late, plenty of ways to go. So yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Let's get wrapped up here. Chat, any lasting questions, comments, concerns, throw them at me. And then otherwise, I got to get in that rundfs.com VIP voice chat. Willie says, Gun, money tip of the day. Play Moses, fade Harden on FanDuel. All right. Drop the link. The link to what? Good show, Gun. Appreciate that. I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow yet, chat. Be fluid with me. So first of all, tomorrow's schedule for NBA is 2, 4, 6, 7 games. I personally could probably knock out 7 games in an hour. And that might be my goal. But there's going to be a lot of stuff on the air. Maybe. Be there. What's up, Lorenzo? Be there in support. I appreciate that. Call says, hey, Gun, do you make a rule about how many players you roster from the same game on big slates like this? Not from the same game, but from the same team. Oftentimes, I don't want more than 3 players from the same team. Generally, if I'm scripting 100, 150, I could take up to 3, but oftentimes not more than 3, and then a lot of times just not more than 2. So yes, but it's not necessarily from the same game. It's more of the same team. Love Covington. All right, so tomorrow is a 7-game slate. Let's be fluid here. It's a 6 p.m. lock. Maybe I can try and shoot for a 4 p.m. Eastern start time here. We'll try. I think the Yankee game should be over by then. We can have some fun, talk some baseball, and that'll lead us into a middling NBA slate. I definitely want to get you guys something up tomorrow, so I'll try to commit to a 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central stream. And then Friday, we may not have a stream. Bear with me on that, right? Because my the awesome show that we're going to do is going to be pretty much at the same time as our normal stream time. So if we did a stream on Friday, it would probably have to be earlier in the morning, and that might get weird. It's a big slate, so Friday might be an off day, but we'll still have full VIP coverage. So it's going to get wild, and we're going to get a lot of this in the coming weeks because we have full NBA slates, full baseball slates. And it just is what it is. We embrace it. We do our best. And we go out there and we grind the money where we can get it. Twitter.com/Gundackers, where you guys can reach out to me. I appreciate you guys as always making part of my day. Be part of your day. I'll see you guys on tomorrow's stream. And then if you guys want to play some baseball, get into VIP. But also check out the baseball breakdown and the Intro to Baseball series that you can find right here on this page. I threw up 4 videos around 10 minutes or less to get you started and not feel like you don't know what you're doing. All right. I'm off to the VIP voice chat. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.